Hey all, another new guitar day. This one is a, what are they calling it? A Fender, Classic Series, I think. They're made in Mexico. Classic Series Telecaster Custom, I think. I think it's a 2016. This is a 72 reissue. And I had a real 72, but mine was a Tele Deluxe, so you would have had the two humbuckers. And the big headstock, the big 70s, late 60s, early 70s, which I actually liked a lot. I wish these had the big headstock. But I don't think they ever made these Tele Customs with the big headstock, you know. Keith Richards being the one that you probably recognize. In fact, for me, for somebody my age, and I'm 52, so, I got into the Stones. The 1978 Stones will always be my Rolling Stones. Probably somebody who was a teenager when Satisfaction, they probably think of the Brian Jones period as the Stones. They know. For me, it's late 70s, 78, 79, 80, 81. That's my Stones. And Mick Jagger will always be that guy. Keith's guitar will always be this one, as far as I'm concerned. Of course, this one, in the end, Keith's was a 75. They had those wide, what do they call that, wide range humbucker. So ultimately, this probably looks more like Keith than sounds like it. Although it does with that, it gives you a nice teletone. It does give you a nice teletone. Neck is a little. I think Keith would have done it most of the time. He would have had it in the middle, probably. But that doesn't. I don't know. Doesn't quite get it, but you buy it for the look of it. Let's face it. So made in Mexico, and one thing they're doing, just like the 70s ones that I used to know, was, God, there's a lot of lacquer on that. That's so almost sticky, just like a 70s Fender would have been. I doubt they did that on purpose, but because modern Fender maple necks are almost satiny. I don't know that they lay it on as thick as that, but to be honest, frankly, it's the way the Mexican ones are being made these days. At least for me, it gets really hard to justify buying an American-made, Tele or Strat, a Fender, because the Mexican ones are so much better than they used to be. One thing that I don't like so much is I may have to do some adjustments here, because those the screws actually stick up. So when I do a lot of muting, and that's tearing up my hand. So I may do something about that. You got your bullet touch right. I mean, it does do a nice job of capturing the vibe of it. But also, since I'm a 52-year-old ancient guitar player, I remember in the local swap sheet up in Rochester when I was in college. To pay good money for a 3-bolt Fender neck, it was laughable. You could pick these up for $250, $300. Real 72s. Not that there was no reissue stuff. You were just buying, in 1988, 1987. You were just buying used guitars. But that was right as things like 58 and 59 Les Pauls were starting to really catch fire. It was the front end of this explosion. In fact, I remember in 1987, I went to the House of Guitars, and they had just gotten in a 58 Flametop Gorgeous, and I remember he wanted $6,800 for it, and I was like, $7,000. That might have, when I was 19 years old, that might as well have been $1 million. But that was when they were still sort of in the realm of a real person might be able, but you could buy a car for that at the time. So anyway, back to the guitar. just getting to know it, and this would have been, you know, when Keith was using it. I think does he bring it out on the road? I think he stopped a while ago. Maybe brings it out for nostalgia's sake these days, but because Keith would have had this replaced with just a cap, a silver cap, and then had this switch put down here. So he only had one master volume. I think it's down there. And yeah, he did that because he just does this, and his hand kept hitting it. So they moved it around. So he doesn't have this 4 knobs anymore. I think they did that like, I don't know, 15 years ago, the mid-2000s. So it wasn't always like that. Through the glory years when he was using it for, you know, Some Girls period, all the way through the '81 tour, it would have been the regular, normal configuration anyway. So I'm still getting to know it, obviously, and reasonably priced if you get one a couple of years old. Having owned a real 72, granted mine was a deluxe with 2 buckets, but it was the same. Otherwise the same. It's been a while since I had that one, but you know, it's hard to justify paying more than I paid for this for a bolt-on neck. You know, I don't know. That's just my opinion. Yeah, I mean the real vintage ones are worth some money, and I played a '62 Strat, which was worth every penny that the guy paid for it. But you know, for more modern stuff, I don't know. It's hard for me to justify it because you get pretty good quality instruments out of Fender in Mexico these days. So we're going to get to know this guitar, and this would have been the one that Keith would use for standard tuning, Stones tunes. I'm probably going to use it for everything Stones, but he would have used the Macabre or one of those other tallies for the 5-string open G stuff. But this one would have been, you know, Going to a Go-Go, Shattered. That would have been this one for the live shows. That's it. More to come from this one. Good luck.